live. Lovely 72 degrees Fahrenheit in Central Texas. Frederick, nice to see you here. Yeah, it's not quite that warm up here in Illinois, but it's 52 right now, according to my watch. So not bad for this time of year. It's a happy St. Patrick's Day weekend to everybody who celebrates that. I'm pulling up an image here. If you live in the Chicago area, you might know about that they turned the river downtown green to clean the water. And I think that's already happened this year. But yeah, this is a thing where you can see the river and it turns green. So pretty cool aspect of the city of Chicago, if you're not familiar with it. But I am sorry, guys, for, yeah. And hello, Keenan. Nice to see you. I am sorry, guys. I have not posted a video last weekend, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get one out this weekend. Last weekend I actually worked on a lot of different smart home projects of just installing and setting up things for future videos. And it's kind of a tricky thing because I've been doing a bunch of videos where I hadn't been doing that at all. And so I had this tremendous backlog of smart home projects I wanted to do. And so then I ended up spending all my available smart home hours on that to sort of set up for future videos, and didn't really do anything to get anything out anytime soon. And I've had, last week I had to cancel my live stream. Basically my one of my sons has had some medical issues. He's overall completely fine at this point. But that was why I'm sorry I had to cancel my live stream last week at the last minute. And the past few weeks for my day job have been very demanding and taken a lot of hours away from YouTube, outside of work. So yeah, I'm hoping to get back on the YouTube train one of these days soon. And I have a lot of work in progress. I have a lot of videos coming that I'm excited about to share with you guys probably in the next few weeks. During the week next week, I would be surprised if I don't have a video out at some point. So that's coming. And then certainly the next week as well. A lot of exciting products coming. A lot of just videos I've been wanting to make for a while on sort of bigger topics. But yeah, nothing coming this weekend. So thanks for joining the live stream. And we definitely have a lot of smart home news to check out and talk about, catch up. Let me share my thoughts on a lot of different stuff. So Graham, good evening from the UK. Nice to see you here. Let's see. Yes, family emergency. Yes. Thank you, Frederick. Yeah, everything turned out okay. I appreciate the concern there. And yes, greetings from Highland Park, Saul. Good to see another Chicago area viewer here. So let's see. I want to go through a few different recent smart home announcements and give you my thoughts on them. First, though, it looks like Best Buy in the US and maybe a few other retailers have the HomePod Mini at $20 off, and then the full-size HomePod at $30 off. So if you're thinking about getting a HomePod or HomePod Mini, probably something to consider going ahead and doing. I don't know how long this deal is actually going to run, but I just wanted to make you guys aware. I'm just kind of resizing this Safari window here to let you guys see the full thing. But yeah, so HomePod Mini, $20 off. There's been a few announcements about the Aqara ceiling light, as well as Nanoleaf has finally shipped their Sky panels. Both companies asked me if I wanted to review these, and I declined both of them. I think, obviously I love a lot of products from Aqara and Nanoleaf. I'm sure these are equally as good. I just didn't have a place in my home that I really thought these fit. And I'm also just not a big fan of these smart light fixtures. Personally, my style, I'd way more rather find like a good light fixture that you like for your space, and then either put smart bulbs in it or hook it up to a smart switch on the wall rather than actually putting in a skylight. Yeah, anyways, so, oh yes, and thanks Modern Day Tech, great to see you here. Yeah, thanks Eric. It is tough balancing everything. It's also kind of a little bit of a slower time of the year for smart home news. So yeah, and then Govee started shipping their new neon rope light with Matter support. So you can go get those on Amazon. They look pretty cool. I haven't actually tried one myself yet, aside from seeing them or like the early versions of it at CES. And they have some pretty cool, interesting AI ideas around doing the color and stuff for it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be checking these out and letting you know what I think. But they are available now via most retailers, I think. So definitely worth checking those out. I did not buy any apps from the app developer sale. Here, I'm gonna go back here, this view. No, I did not. But I think it's great that, you know, those things go on to sort of promote a lot of, especially indie apps. But yeah, let's see. Any questions, smart home questions, smart home topics, things you're curious about? I do want to update you a little bit on some of the projects I've been doing around my smart home. So one of those has been I am doing a bunch of improvements to my basement home theater, and I'm working with a company on a reviewing. It's not sponsored, but like reviewing a product in that space. So that video's coming sometime in the future. And with that, I installed the Sonos Beam Gen 2, which I'd previously just used the Sonos Beam. The Sonos Beam Gen 2 sounds amazing. It's a big upgrade over the Sonos Beam Gen 1. I was really surprised. And then I took my Era 100s, which I had last year from a video on my channel, and put those as rear surrounds. So those are definitely like a big boost to the surround sound. I'd previously used the Sonos Ones or Sonos One SLs as my rear surrounds, and they were completely fine. I wanted to just, for the sake of trying stuff out for the channel and stuff, wanted to try out the Era 100s, and I was also already having to take down my One SLs because I was kind of rotating where the furniture and everything was in the room. So I went ahead and did that, and then put the One SLs mounted here in the sort of ceiling in my office, which I'll probably talk about that in a future video with some automation stuff. But it's kind of nice to have speakers in a room that aren't like part of the room, like on furniture. They're just like above in the ceiling or whatever. Quite luxurious. So anyways, that whole thing was pretty fun to set up. Very time consuming, a lot more time consuming than I had initially thought. But yeah, it's fun to play with, you know, and running Ethernet for these and all that stuff. So I actually have some pictures of the Era 100s here on Threads. I'll go ahead and pull this up on my screen. So these are some shots from the wall-mounted Era 100s. They look great with the Sonos wall mount up. Yeah, I still got Frederick's question from earlier up here on this view. And there's the Beam Gen 2. So that's a great great sound bar. Very impressed with the performance so far. And then I also have my Sub Mini, the Sonos Sub Mini in this. And Sonos sells this whole thing as a set where they have the Beam Gen 2, the Era 100s, and the Sub Mini all as one thing. Yeah, I mean, trying that sound out, it sounds really good. There's my Sub Mini. So I'm going to go back to live view. So we got a question here. Let's see. Luke M. Am I right? Taking the right approach, in your opinion, for fixed ceiling lights, I'm installing smart switches, Aqara 1 or 2 gang, and for any lamps, etc., using Hue bulbs. I think that sounds like a pretty good setup. I'm guessing you have a Hue bridge and an Aqara bridge hooked up to your network. That would be key there to sort of get the right integrations with Apple Home. But I think that having, I'm guessing, by the way, you're phrasing the question, that the Hue bulbs are not in the circuit attached to the light switch, because I've heard of people doing that, but it just gets very complicated and you really got to really want that. Yeah, I mean, I think smart switches for dumb ceiling bulbs, or, and then as Frederick's saying in the chat, as well as, doing Hue bulbs. I think the Hue bulbs are really reliable and probably still my favorite smart lighting choice. I try lots of different things. There's a lot of companies who make good smart light products, but if I had to pick one, Philips Hue is really compelling, not only because they're reliable, but it's an entire system where you can just stick with Philips Hue for all sorts of different lights over time. And I actually have some stuff in progress. Going to talk more about this on my channel, but there's a lot of different great ways to control Philips Hue as well. And of course, with the Aqara switches on the wall, you could do something like a HomeKit based accessory automation, where when the light switch turns on, set the lights in the room that are Philips Hue bulbs to particular brightness levels and colors or whatever. And that can be a kind of cool effect. Now, in practice, what happens there is that you'll turn on the light switch, and then a moment later, the smart lights will also come on, which can kind of be cool, but also could kind of seem gimmicky. Just depends on what you and the other people you live with think. But yeah, I think that sounds like a really great setup. The one thing I do love about the Aqara switches, and I have them in my my twins' room. Let me pull up the Aqara switches on here. Is that they have, let's see, where did they go? I'm like on their website. Smart lighting, here we go. Aqara switches have a rare thing where you can get a single light switch gang spot where it actually has switches to control two different switch products, most likely lights. And I think that's really nice, especially like my home had a bunch of those style of switches. And in some cases, you can expand the box because it's actually like a dual gang box behind a single gang switch or something like that. Or in other cases, you can do just that single Aqara switch to swap out with the non-smart dual paddle switch for that one spot. And those Aqara switches are really the only, I think, North American style switch that's smart, that works with Apple Home, that does that. And I found them to be very reliable. I have some that Aqara sent me. I have one that Aqara sent me when they first launched that product, and it's still working to this day just fine. So should be a pretty good decision. All right. So yeah, I'm trying to find, where is this on Aqara's website? There they have the switches. Anyway, yeah, I definitely would recommend those. And then as far as other smart home projects, I'm playing with some different locations for my HomePods and HomePod minis. I'm trying out some experiments about just trying to improve some reliability there, and work on some other ways to, I think I've figured out some stuff that you'll hear about in future videos there. But that's been another project that I've been working on. Let's see. As far as other smart home stuff I've recently done, that I can talk about, I trying to think. If there's, yeah, I think that's about it. But it's just also, by the way, I mean, as far as the past few weeks in general, even though I haven't been posting as much, I've also just noticed, I mean, I haven't been watching a lot of YouTube myself, but like I do notice just, oh no, here goes the sump pump right below me. So you probably hear that. There we go. It's actually, that's a fun fact behind the scenes. That sump pump will go off if it's raining. And there's plenty of times over the years where I'm recording a video, my camera and my microphone are sitting here on this counter or something, shooting back this way, as you've probably seen some variant of this like backdrop. And I have to just pause in the middle of the video, let the sub pump run, let the water drain, and then keep talking. And just like cut that out of the video. And so there'll be, if it's raining really hard, there'll be videos where it's like, you know, lots and lots and lots of that, which is, it's annoying, but it's worth it. You know, got to get the videos done and recorded, even if it's raining. So that's my sub pump. But where was I talking about? Let's see. Is there anything else? Oh, yes. So I was working on the different HomePod placement. We talked about that. Oh, here's a good. We have another question. You're welcome, Luke. Good to see that. Scripted or Homebridge? I use them both, but I have issues with scripted screen popping up on Apple TV as a thumbnail and not full motion. However, I can go to that camera manually and it works fine. I wonder what the graphics power is of whatever you have running scripted versus Homebridge, because both of those tools, in order to get video into Apple Home, are doing some local processing of the video. And if it's not beefy enough graphics power, it might be slowing that down to actually get to before it gets to Apple Home. For those who aren't familiar, scripted and Homebridge, well, Homebridge is a sort of a hub that you can hook up to be a bridge into all kinds of non-compatible smart home cameras, smart home other accessories that don't work with Apple Home officially, but then can work unofficially through Homebridge. Scripted is a similar style open source project, but specifically around video, and being able to sort of pipe video from any platform into, you know, all kinds of other places. So I actually haven't played with scripted a lot myself. I tend to just use the you know, either the Homebridge stuff or like with my Ubiquiti stuff. I've played with some of those things, but I honestly just look at Ubiquiti things in the Ubiquiti app. But I don't have a unified doorbell, and I could see the motivation if you have a unified doorbell to put it through something like that, because then, like you're saying, you get the live view in Apple TV. So I'm, you know, and because those doorbells are really nice, but this is one of the challenges of them. I'm guessing that's what you have, but not sure. I would say maybe look at the graphics power. Maybe if you have a different device you could run scripted on, or maybe sort of profile the usage of scripted on that machine if it's possible, you know, depending on how you can sort of profile the processor, GPU use or whatever. Otherwise, maybe there's a way to reduce the latency of the connection of that device. If it's like connected in a switch multiple layers down in your network, maybe that's what's causing the problem there. Yeah, just also potentially the same ideas with the Apple TV. If there's a way you could hardwire the Apple TV, that might be something there. But using Synchrony with plenty of memory. Okay, yeah. My Ring doorbell works fine. Okay, got it. So you have a Ring doorbell. Yeah, so All right. Yeah, and then Home Assistant. Yeah. I've played with Home Assistant, Samir. Good question. Um, I've been over time sort of go through a love-hate relationship with Home Assistant because it's very powerful and it has a lot of different features, and you can also customize, and add things into Apple Home via Home Assistant as opposed to HomeBridge. And with Home Assistant, then you get even more features beyond that. I do think that it's a little bit, it's a little bit fiddly, and even with things like Home Assistant Green, and I've kind of been leaning more towards stuff like Homey Pro, but also just kind of foregoing that whole category. It's hard to say because I think we're going to see a lot of movement in that sort of space where you have some kind of a smart controller that is not made by one of the giant tech companies necessarily, but basically controls everything in your home. And that's kind of what I was writing about in my last edition of my newsletter. Like not last as in ever, but I mean the previous one. Is this the dawn of the Matter Super Hub era? Basically meaning, like Akara's marketing a lot of intelligence in their new hub. And I think whether it's an open source alternative like Home Assistant or a product from a company like Homey Pro or Akara, I wonder if people are going to start to get want to move their automation and everything off of one of these more walled garden ecosystems like Apple Home, Amazon, Google Home, etc., and put them on something that just talks to those systems and does all the automation for you. That said, I haven't really made a video about Home Assistant because I don't yet feel like I have anything interesting to say about it, like that would make for a good video and sort of part of the conversation online. There's so many people making great content about Home Assistant all over the place on YouTube. And yeah, I mean, I do think there is something there that I can say and add to this, but it's I'm not sure. So we'll see what comes of that topic for me and what I have to say about it. But yeah, Homey Pro so far so good, but I need to play with it more before I would say I recommend it or don't recommend it. Oh, whoops, I changed scenes and now, yeah, there we go. Yeah, but I'm definitely looking into those things. If you're waiting for, I don't know. I know Shane has recommended Homey Pro. I don't want to come out here and say yet what I think of it, but I'm definitely checking it out, and I think it's definitely more polished than Home Assistant. But that said, there are some integrations that it lacks that Home Assistant has. Like, for example, I've been playing some with some of the GE Sync lights that are not Matter compatible, and those work through Home Assistant, but they don't work with Homey Pro. Kind of, random systems like that you might find, like someone's made a Home Assistant plugin for it, but Homey Pro hasn't officially supported it. So there are those kinds of things. But also, I don't know if it's always the best idea to use some of the older GE Sync stuff. I think they have some cool stuff coming out with Matter, but some of their older stuff is probably not worth your time unless you're already stuck with it. So Ring cameras are fine, but my Reolink IP cameras are the issue. Yeah, and they're hardwired. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Saul, about that, but I wonder if it's something around latency, because I think what happens there on the Apple TV is that when you see the notification, it's similar to what happens with a notification on your phone, which when you get a push notification on your phone and you see an image or a video with it, what happens is the app has a special extension, and the operating system wakes up that app in the background and says, give me your video or photo, or do whatever you want to do. And in that case, the app can download a video clip or photo from the cloud and supply it to the notification. And then that's able to be played as media. And I'm guessing that Apple's sort of working with that same system for their own notifications in Apple TV. But I'm not 100% sure because that's not something that third parties can, external developers can touch. So I don't know how that works. But my guess is that on apps on your phone, if you don't see the image for some reason, and this could be true with troubleshooting home security systems in general, then you open that up and on your phone and you don't see it. You don't see it in the background, or you don't see the image because what's happened is it's fetching in the background and that takes too long. And then the operating system usually like kills that extension. And so then you just get the notification without the image. So potentially what's happening is the Apple TV's trying to show you the notification with video. It's trying to get the video. Getting the video is taking too long, so it fails that and then just shows you the notification. But, or shows you the image. It sounds like you were saying the image shows, which I guess is a fallback of the video. Again, that's just my guess, but it's hard to say. One other thing I wanted to talk about, which I remembered from earlier, was that I have moved away from using Unify Talk. So you might have remembered, if you're a fan of Ubiquiti Unify or stuff and you've seen maybe some of my videos on that, I tried out Unify Talk. I never made a video about it, but it was basically because I needed a phone number outside of my usual cell phone. And so I thought, well, whatever, I'll just get the Unify version of this with their Unify Talk phone, and it works with power over Ethernet. You just plug it into your thing, and you get a really cool dashboard on there, of course, Unify system to see all that data. I kept having repeated issues since I've moved to the using a Xfinity supplied modem for my internet connection, and that's what I use right now. Long story short, was a better deal with Xfinity that way, but that basically meant that I think it's like SIP ARC or something like that is like some protocol that like doesn't work or is like really tough to work with on those modems, and they tend to block a lot of that traffic. And so basically what would happen is my Unify Talk phone would work for some time and then stop working. And then if I restart the modem, then it would start working again, and then it would stop working randomly. And I just didn't want to have that sort of like, it works again, it doesn't work, back and forth stuff. So I ended up shutting that whole thing down and canceling my plan with Unify for that phone. So just a heads up, if you're thinking about Unify Talk and you happen to have a modem or some kind of a way to connect to the internet issued by your internet service provider. I have that modem in bridge mode with Unify. So it's, Unify still being my router and everything to the internet. But yeah, anyway, so that was what happened to that. And I just want to let you guys know, because I know I've talked positively about it in the past because it was a pretty cool toy, but it's not working for me enough to really keep using it. And so if you're thinking about it, be warned that might be an issue for you too. Do you think Aqara should one with outdoor cams? Big Aqara fan. How's your experience been? Okay, we talked about that one. I'm sorry. Oh, hey, Nathan's here. Old friend. Nice to see you. So, yeah. Hey, Nathan. Thanks for joining. Yeah, and good, Saul. Glad you like my camera answers. Now that okay. Here, Frederick. I went to the new Unify modem, and Unify Talk system works great. You may want to see if that works for you. Yes. Unify has some really cool stuff, and they also have some new cool things around cellular backup of internet. So if you needed like a cell backup plan, they have like some fancy ways you can hook that up. Basically, I just went with the modem supplied by my internet provider just to save money. Also, they offered me more speed for less money that way. And I've noticed a marked improvement in upload speed with their modem. I think because they can probably, unfortunately, see the traffic more in detail and then know, oh, this person isn't trying to host a BitTorrent server. They're actually trying to upload a bunch of videos to YouTube. Let's make that go faster. And so like uploads to Dropbox, to YouTube, to, Apple, all kinds of other, like legit normal upload services. All of a sudden you start uploading something, you get a bunch more bandwidth and it goes faster. And I'm on a coaxial cable connection here. So anyways, I don't love the fact that I went with the cable company's modem, but that was basically why, to sort of save money and get more speed. So we'll see how that all shakes out. Oh, do you think Aqara would come out with outdoor cameras? Got it. Sorry, Paul. I misunderstood your last message. I don't know if Aqara will do that. We'll see. I think the reason you don't see a lot of companies do that is because I think there's a lot of unique challenges with outdoor cameras. So we'll see. Yeah, Frederick, I saw that you mentioned it was your Unify modem. And yeah, I know there's a typo there. I understood. Sorry. But yeah, and then of course, the cable company can sell your information to advertisers. That's why it's cheaper. But yes, outdoor cameras for Aqara. I don't know of any plans of like that. I think it's a hard market to play in. There's a lot of things to consider, but Aqara has already done a doorbell, so maybe they will make outdoor cameras. I think if they do, I definitely love to check it out because I think they'll probably do a good job of it. Good job at making outdoor cameras. But it's also like it's a market where there's a lot of demand in the Apple home space because there's not a lot of people making outdoor cameras for us. But for people who are just into smart home tech in general, there's a lot of great companies out there doing a lot of great outdoor video cameras. So it's a very competitive space. I think, Eufy is making great cameras there. There's also big players in the space like Ring and Arlo. And so if you come out with an outdoor camera, it's gotta, you gotta have the hope that you're going to make a splash in the market bigger than just the Apple home folks, probably, unless maybe you're a smaller player like Eve, who also does great products, but Eve is kind of more targeted in now the Matter space. But even then, then they're sort of looking, Matter isn't really for cameras, but like Eve Outdoor Cam for Apple HomeKit. So we'll see with Aqara if they're going to come out with outdoor cameras. I'd love to see it, but I don't know if it's actually going to happen. Well, yeah, I think now we're actually going to close down the stream. It's been great hanging out with you guys this afternoon. And I was just meant to mention earlier, like views are go support your. We're ending a little stream a little earlier today. I don't have a lot of videos out there right now, but it's just I know that generally this time of year, especially less going forward in the next few weeks, I think, but like certainly the past few weeks, views on YouTube are just kind of lower in general. So especially in, I think, like the tech YouTube space. So it is kind of tough for your fellow creators out there to like work hard, post a video, and then it gets like a fraction of the views videos did like 2 months ago. So as we have like a half hour, go support your fellow creators out there, watch some smart home videos, and make a few of those recent video view numbers go up. So anyways, thanks so much, and have a good St. Patrick's Day weekend. Bye. Oh, now I got to find the in button here. There we go.